All right. Happy Monday, everyone. Hopefully, everybody's doing great. Well, first of all, today we have our guest, as always, Kara and Jean, Irina Pornova, and we have a great topic today. Choose love over fear. We're going to talk about different factors that makes us go forward and push us to become better. And for that, we have Irina to thank for today's topic.
Yay! Thank you so much, Johnny. And today's topic is choose love over fear. And that's true because if we think about it, fear and love are the strongest emotions that we have. And it all depends where we want to direct our energy. That's exactly what we are choosing in life. And what comes up to me, there is like that beautiful saying, just imagine yourself, you are on the crossroads of making the decision for yourself. You wanted to do something that you truly, truly love doing in your life, yet fear pulls you back. And then the question comes up, and you're asking yourself, what if I fail? And then I come around and I say, and what if you fly? Right? So there is always the two sides of the story. And it depends what kind of story we would love to believe in order to produce different results in our life. And there is another story just to back up this one. We all have this fear and love that live inside of us. And I call it two wolves. And the story is about which wolf is really gonna win. And the answer is the one that we feed the most. Because with our thoughts, with our words and our intentions, we could consciously project that great result out of love because we want to do something better in our life. Or we could just, pull ourselves down and say, you know what, let me just stay where I am. I'm comfortable where I am. I don't want to risk. I don't want to take any responsibility, right? That's where the fear comes in. And it's very, very powerful to remember that it's okay. We could acknowledge the fear. It's not like, it's going to disappear. No, every successful person, every person who was going through something in life, they also had that fear. We understand, we accept there is that fear, but we are not going to allow that fear to control us. We are going to accept that it's part of the process. Because what fear does, it's like our defensive mechanism, right? We all need fear because let's say if we are in the circumstances, if we are somewhere where it's unsafe, of course, we have to react, right? With the fear, like our brain all of a sudden realize, okay, put ourselves in that mode that there is a fear inside and it just like to protect ourselves. But it doesn't necessarily have to be the same protection mechanism when we are talking about what exactly we want to do in our life, right? What decisions we have to make in our life. Johnny, what does it say for you?
Well, for me, okay, let's put it this way for me. For me, since I didn't have a mentor at the beginning, everything was based on fear. So as I learned my business and went through other stages of my life and I met amazing people like you and all my other educators, that has changed the way that I view things now. So once you go ahead and start moving to the path of love and understanding, that's what it looks like for me nowadays.
So true. And thanks for sharing. It's just like I'm going back to the fact, because people sometimes have this dreams inside of us, right? And we are just, like if we close our eyes and start imagining something great and beautiful, we kind of get carried away with our emotions, with our imaginations. But then it's like, okay, who am I to think that I could be better, I could have a better life, I could have a better career, I could have a better financial situation? Who am I, right? And that's again, our fear brings us back, because our fear is actually our enemy, because it just wants to pretend as our friend, because the fear is going to say, you know what, you don't have to venture anyway, because what if it's going to cost you money? What if it's gonna cost you time? What if you're gonna lose your family? What if you're gonna lose your secure job? Right? So fear presents itself like, that friend of ours saying, just, be where you are and be happy with what you have. You don't
Hmm.
have to ask for anything more. Let's just, live in that survival mode. That's exactly what happened to a lot of people. Johnny, have you ever had any kind of story related to that?
Yes, yes, and actually, as a matter of fact, we were catching up with some friends on Sunday, and we were talking exactly about that. That life gives you exactly what you need, and first you gotta be thankful, and then what you have, that's what helps you catapult to where you want to be, because you don't want to get stuck with just the things you got and that's it. Because as you were saying a minute ago, we all have dreams, and those dreams, you have to face them at one point or another. You have to face them and take everything you have, all the knowledge, and put it to work. And that's when fear kicks in, because you're venturing towards unknown, to your uncomfortable zone.
Yeah, it's so true. It's that, uncertainty. That's exactly what paralyzes people, because we are okay when our mind could grasp the path, but our mind is saying, okay, I'm just going to stay in this relationship. Maybe it sucks. Maybe we don't love each other anymore, but this is something I've been doing for so many years. This is what I used to. And what is going to happen if we are not together? What is going to happen to my life? Am I going to end up alone for the rest of my life? And that's what freaks out a lot of people. That's why a lot of people are staying in not satisfied relationships, because they are too afraid. Or the
Yeah.
other scene, it's like, somebody got hurt in the younger years, which I say we all have to go through that stage, because we came here to work. We came here to learn and grow with that. It's impossible. First time you met somebody and you live happily ever after. I mean, it's not fun, right?
Yes.
So the point is, people get, like really heartbroken with one bad experience, and then they experience that, closed heart syndrome, where they completely, like, build these walls. They just saying, you know what, I don't want to get into that anymore. I want to be like, safe, and I want to feel good about myself. I don't want to go through all these emotions. And that's exactly what fear is trying to do. It's like, have you done that before? Do you remember the experience? Do you remember how painful it was? Are you serious? You want to go through that again, right? So
Hmm.
fear is always like our, like parents saying what's better for us, right? But then again, we have to realize, like, we are here to live. We are here to explore and experience. We cannot just, like, stop ourselves because we don't know how things are gonna work out. And
Yeah.
again, when we understand the whole concept, when we create consciously something, we could create the best life ever in any areas.
Hmm.
Some people are afraid to change their career path, and that's what happened to me, because actually love won over that fear. Because when I lost the job during pandemic, and that's when I had to make that decision for myself, what's next, what am I going to do with my life? And then I just faced the reality, saying, you know what, I am not happy where I used to work. I am not happy to report to somebody. I am not feeling fulfilled. I want to work for myself. And that was my conscious decision. And did I know how it's gonna go? Of course I didn't. But I had this beautiful vision, because I know what I want.
And
And
that's
this is the vision that keeps me up every morning, because I know that as long as I keep going, I'm gonna reach that beautiful destination where I meant to go. And that's exactly like when we are looking at fear and love, what is going to win? Is it like my love for doing exactly what I want to do in the world, helping as many people as I want to, like bringing exactly all my gifts and talents to the surface and serve people on the magnitude schedule? Or I'm just going to be frightened and play small and sit there and saying, like, who am I? Like, who said that I could do this work? Who qualified me? But let me ask you another question. And who you are not to be that person? Why a lot of times we belittle ourselves? Why a lot of times we criticize ourselves and we stop believing in ourselves? We are saying it's okay for somebody else to be super successful, to have the great love of their life, to enjoy the life to the fullest. It's okay for them because it's them, it's not us. But
Hmm.
who decide? There is nobody else to decide for us than ourselves. So our decision is the most powerful. That's why it's so important to face that fear and understand that fear is not your guide.
Yes.
Fear is there as a protective mechanism, like I said, when there are like situations when we face and we know we have to protect ourselves. Otherwise, when we have to make choices in life, making decisions, just be bold and do it, because the universe moves with us. Once we make that powerful decision for the changes in our life, the universe is gonna have our back. The universe is gonna support us in any decision we are making. Johnny, what would you
Yeah.
like to share?
What I want to share is that everything that you were mentioning actually falls perfectly with what one of our viewers is saying. His name is Sean, and he's from West Palm Beach here. And it says fear, which the acronym, the one that he knows and share with us, says face everything and rise. Back to what we were saying, at one point or another, you have to just pick up everything you have and go for it, no matter. And then the other one, the one that I know, is that fear is false evidence appearing real. To the second point that you were bringing, it's like that parent that tells you no, it's not okay. It's false evidence that appears real. And
So beautiful.
using those wisdoms, the one that Sean has shared with us,
Thanks,
and this
Sean.
can,
Beautiful.
yeah, thank you. That can help us grow because you brought something so important. We see successful people and it's really, really okay for them. But when we think about us, when when is our turn? Why are we not good enough? And that's a lie that we have built in our heads, and we just proclamate it and create that a reality. So we have to stop doing that and start filling our heads with I can do it, I'm capable, I'm strong, I have everything in my hands, and everything, like Kara says, since she's not here, everything works for me.
So true. It all starts with our own beliefs. If we don't believe in ourselves, nobody can make us to believe in ourselves, because it all stems from ourselves, right? And it just to add to the point that everybody faces the fear at one point of a time or another, but it's just realizing that it can't just paralyze us and it can't just stop us from living, because as long as we breathe in, like I said, if we are gonna breathe in for another 365 days, we better create something out of of this life, rather than just going through the motions and recreate exactly what we had last year and the year before. Let's just be more powerful. Let's just empower ourselves and just step out of that comfort zone and say, you know what, I'm gonna be afraid, but I'm still gonna do it. Do it afraid. That's the whole point of it.
And no matter what happens, here's the one thing that you have to understand. Life, let's say that you have a business idea, you put it together, and that is one thing that has happened to me, not once but many times. I have a business idea, I put it together, yeah, I jump. At this point, I'm no longer afraid like I used to be at the beginning. At this point, I'm like, okay, I know this much, and then whatever happens from there, I'll figure it out. But when you're getting started on any business or any new endeavor, it's gonna happen. Your mind's gonna say, why are you doing that? And it's gonna feel painful to even try it. The great thing about it is that if you keep pushing through, keep fighting that thought, you will figure things along the way. And you will notice things will start just falling into place as needed. So go for it. Stop thinking that you cannot do it. You actually can.
That's so true. That's so beautifully said, because a lot of people just think about it like the society as a whole. People are watching the news. What do the news project? They project the fear. Oh, look what happened there. Look at the politics. Look at the economy, right? And we are all like, whoo, 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 in that fearful mode, right? That's
Hmm.
exactly, and we are just absorbing it, right? And then somebody says, "Oh, you know what? Don't go today to the city because they're gonna have some kind of event, and there must be shooting there." So again, it's all like fear that we imposed in ourselves. Okay, don't go anywhere. Don't venture with your job. Look at the economy. Like everybody is, not having the best time right now. Sit and wait. Sit and wait. Same thing, with the relationship. Oh, really? You got hurt? Now you want to go again for that? So it's funny, like we are actually the ones to determine what we allow or not allow to ourselves. Because,
Hmm.
like I said, we are actually the highest authorities for ourselves to determine what we can do or we cannot do. So if we say no to ourselves, and that's where the fear speaks, because love always wants something better for us, love wants something good for us. And like I said, we all have these two voices inside of us. And I remember when I was looking where I could apply my knowledge, because I was in accounting field all my life, and that's the only thing I was doing. That's the only thing I knew. But I was in the process of discovering my gifts and talents. And I remember once I decided, okay, I want to do my own business. It's like again, like fear and love were like battling, right? The fear was like saying, seriously, like, who are you? Like you never owned your own business. And look at this. This is the time of the pandemic. People are closing the businesses. Nobody is actually opening anything. Are you out of your mind? Like, where are you gonna, what exactly you're gonna do? Where do you find the people who would need your services, right? But then the voice of love was so strong, and it was like really loud and clear, saying to me that this is it. You have to take that opportunity and to run with that, because
Hmm.
that was exactly what I recommend everybody. Don't listen just to your brain, because our brain is always the logic that based on our past experience. Whatever we experienced in the past, that's exactly what's going to generate our opinion about should we take that opportunity or not. Take your time. Take your time and listen to what your heart wants, because your heart knows exactly the truth. Your heart knows exactly what the life is all about and what makes you alive.
Hmm.
That's the most important thing, Johnny.
Yes, and that is the truth. Your heart really knows. And one thing that I forgot to mention is that when you start loving yourself, you still start seeing possibilities. You start seeing places that you did not see that they were there the whole time. So start taking advantage. The second that you start seeing those possibilities rise up, take them. Go for the change of scenery. Go for the change of people. One thing that does help you into overcoming this fear is getting a little bit uncomfortable every day, just a little bit. The Let's say that, for example, your biggest fear or biggest issue is actually talking to people. Like right now, you wouldn't say that that's me, but years ago, I couldn't speak to anybody. It was hard for me. So what I did is one person a day, one person a day, getting a little bit uncomfortable to talk to one person a day. Now the issue is that you cannot get me to stop talking to people.
Right? But it just to show, it just to prove the point, Johnny, that when you take those steps, right? Those inspired steps and saying, okay, one person a day, and then it's gonna like just you build that habit. Like I said, we are such a habitual human beings. So everything is possible. We just train our brain muscle, and we could reprogram our mind for something more creative, for something better, for something that really, makes us alive.
Hmm.
And that's the whole point of it. And what comes to my mind is like people sometimes are frozen because their surroundings,
Yes.
everybody around, like their friends, if they're gonna, let's say, if you have this beautiful idea and you say, this is something I want to pursue, and you have to be like really careful who you are sharing it with, right? So the people in the surroundings, and it's also in my circle as well, it's kind of, everybody is gonna judge you based on their past experience, based on the surroundings and what's out there, and tell you, you know what, you must be out of your mind. And our nature is always for some reason to listen to everybody. And just ask yourself why. Because it's our habit. That's how we grew up. We grew up listening to our parents. We grew up listening to the news, to the teachers, to everybody. And it turns out that everybody just put their layers of opinion on us, and it's not truly who we are.
Hmm.
We are not anybody's opinion. That's why it's so important to start like really analyzing, who am I? What
Hmm.
do I want from this life? How would I love to live my life so I could live it to the fullest? Because the worst regret that people have at the end of the life, when they really didn't experience something that they wanted to experience, they didn't go to pursue that passion, they didn't go after that person that they truly thought that they could be happy with. It's just like all sorts of regrets. So my question is, why do we have to wait until something big hits? Why do we have to wait till the end of the life to discover that we should have lived it differently?
Hmm.
Well, sometimes people are just waiting for these, like events to shake them up, like serious illness or divorce, or, like losing the job, financial security, waiting for all these triggers to finally start realizing, you know what, it's the time for me to pick up myself and do something different. And my question is, why? Why do
Hmm.
we wait for that?
And that's the thing. A lot of people get programmed, and I see it on the day-to-day basis. I, as some of you know, I own a dance studio besides of my digital marketing business, and I work with kids, teenagers, and adults. And it's such a change because a good example, I work with an adult. I'm teaching them a dance move, some of the basic moves, and I teach that to the adult, and the adult is so worried that nobody, they don't want anybody to see them that they're not doing it properly the first time, and they're so afraid. Like they rather pay me to go and teach them privately at their house than come to a group class because they're terrorized of making a mistake. Teenagers, on the other hand, same thing. They're afraid of making a mistake, but they will somewhat laugh about it and still will try it just for the fun of it. And some of them will even get goofy about it. But here's the great part: kids. Kids, they don't care if they did it right or wrong. In their heads, they just did it and they go at it again and again and again because they don't have that programming. So that's why I'm saying, as we grow up, we fill in that programming, and once you get as an adult, you're so afraid of what people think, what people say about you, and how they're gonna view you from there on. Which, one thing that I learned, that you shouldn't care. It doesn't really matter what people think about you. It does matter what happens when you stand in front of the mirror and you look at yourself and you say, "Oh my God, I woke up so handsome or so freaking gorgeous this morning. Let's go and get this day over with."
Absolutely, I love it. And it's just like sometimes people put up, I attend this beautiful event every week, and the guy is teaching the sales, and he's hilarious, funny, funny, funny. And he says each time, he's like, if you think that people care about what, like we are so caught up with the thought, what everybody else is thinking of us. And let me tell you, let me share the news. They don't give a, like they don't even think about you because everybody is thinking about themselves. So the point is, we are like so petrified. We already like programming ourselves. Oh my gosh, who is gonna say what about us? What are they gonna think? Nobody gives a fly because everybody is thinking about themselves, okay? So let me just break down that news for you. Just care
If you
about
didn't know it,
yourself.
now you know it.
Now you know it, and now you know how to deal with that. But the point is, guys, everybody goes through fear. There is not a single person who never went through that experience. But somebody came out of it and somebody decided, I'm going to go through that experience because I want something more from this life. So the idea is, if you have that desire for something, if you would love to do something different in your life, if you would love to become a different person, everything is in your hands. Just kick that fear aside and just do what you have to do.
Yeah.
And surround yourself with people who also, go in the same direction. On the internet, there are so many opportunities that people are not aware about. Like Johnny mentioned, not that something doesn't exist. Everything is already existing in this universe. It's all about tapping to that, frequency where we want to be, who we want to become. And that's the thing. There are like so many social media groups of like-minded people. You want to do something, you want to start your own business. Find the Facebook groups with your own business, who is like starting their own business. Find LinkedIn, find, anything. It's just all in our hands. People are trying to put all the excuses rather than making the efforts. And that's what we have to start breaking, these habits. Everybody could, make an excuse that the economy is not good. I don't have enough money in the bank account. I don't have enough education. I'm not young enough. Whatever. Of course, because excuse is easy, because this just, like gets us off the hook and we don't have to do anything. And boom, again, we are sitting where we are. We are again at the same status quo.
Yep.
But for us to grow, we have to face it. We have to sit down with ourselves and, have a conversation with ourselves.
And that is one of the things that, if you look in nature, number one, I don't know if you ever heard about why the bee flies.
Share the story. Why?
Well, physically, anatomically, a bee should not be able to fly. Like a lot of people have gone and seen the span of the wings, the size of the bee. They truly should not be able to fly. But there was one scientist that said it as just breaking up the ice in a conversation, and it says that the bees fly because they do not know that they couldn't fly, meaning that they don't have that red tape in their head that they cannot fly. And when you look at nature, if we don't touch the trees, they will keep growing. They will keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, meaning that animals, vegetation will grow to the maximum capacity because they don't see a limit. Us humans are the ones that put those limits, and that's exactly what I wanted to share earlier. Henry Ford if you know a little bit of his life, he was not. He was a very smart man, very intelligent, but he did not finish high school. So he was not somebody that was on the normal educated, but he was very smart. And he said that whether you think you can or you think you can't, it's right. So start thinking that you can. Because you can. There's nothing stopping you. Check who are your friends? Who is actually giving you wisdom? Because sometimes we go and look for the people that we think they're going to be the best people, parents, relatives, anybody who's really, really close to us, and they're the ones who make the most damage to your dreams. They don't mean it. They don't mean it, but they don't know what they don't know. And they don't know what you're capable of.
Yes, they want you to stay safe. That's the whole point. Their job is to protect us, but there is nobody there to protect us because we can protect ourselves by
Mm-hmm.
exploring what we truly love, by figuring out what exactly what I want to do in life in order to live fulfilling life and let that fear never ever stop you and put any limits on yourself. And the
Yeah.
more you do it, you just start with affirmation, start saying that I can do it. The more you're gonna wash your brain saying I can do it, the more it becomes real. And
Mm-hmm.
then you could feel it, you immerse it like your full body is gonna have that experience. Of course, I can do it. Who says I can't? I'm the only one to determine whether I can or cannot, as Henry Ford said.
Yeah. And you, as a manifestation coach, you know how powerful it is to just say it out loud every single time that you can. And then, if you actually really, really want to go the extra mile, get a little cardboard, grab a few newspapers, magazines, start creating that vision board. Start planting that seed in your brain that everything you want, you can and will go for it.
So true. Life is worth of all the experiences. If we try to stay, in a comfort zone, we're still gonna get hurt. It's just how life is, right? No matter how we are trying to protect ourselves, we're still gonna experience the unprotected ways of, like the economy is hitting us, the world is against us. So rather than just staying there and taking it all, why don't we just fight? Why don't
And,
we just do something about it?
and not only that, you know what's really funny? I come across, because of the circles that I'm at, there's a lot of people that I come across that are very passionate about their politics. And they're so upset to the left or to the right, in because they're not doing this or not doing that. And I always tell them, so okay, you don't like that, right? What are you doing yourself without complaining to change that? I vote. And I'm like, no, no, no. What are you doing on the daily basis that will change that? Because going to vote, yeah, it's a right. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. You're doing your civic duty, and you should, because that's how we get heard. But if you're not doing something, like for example, if you don't like the education system, why don't you take your time? There's so many kids that need tutoring. Why don't you take your time and go to schools? They need some mentors, they need guidance counselors, they need people that really care about the kids' future. If you're so worried about XYZ law.
So true. And I think the most important thing, like I said, people live other people's lives. People don't understand that my life is the most precious. I am the main character of my beautiful story. I have my phenomenal life to worry about. Why would I worry about some celebrity's life? Who cares? I want to create my life. That's the whole point. Like, society is like completely focused on third party. They are not focusing on themselves. But you have your own life to worry about. Stop worrying about everybody else. Stop giving everybody advice. Let people experience what they experience. Just focus on yourself. If you go within for 1 year, you'll see what it's going to do to your life. When you
Mhm.
come back, you're going to be a completely different person. And it's going to be reflected in your life results. It's going to be reflected in your emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual health. You'll see like improvement. There is no even question about it.
Yep. So, with that said, I really, really, really hope that you took everything that Irina has said to heart. If you don't know where to get started, we have two fantastic coaches here that actually love and are passionate on what they do. Irina, Kara, both of them can help you out with getting your mindset straight, then getting your meat suit with all the hormone soups straight, and then getting also your vision set up so you can be successful. We need
Yes,
more successful people that breed more loving, successful people here now.
absolutely. Thank you. Beautiful message. And just remember that success is our birthright. There are no chosen people. We all have that potential, but not many people explore that. And it's very difficult sometimes to go on on your own adventure. That's why we are here to guide you, to support you, and to be your accountability partner.
hmm We created this space for all of you guys. Just follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, because we want to connect with all of you. If you have a question, please send us a DM. We are here for you. We really want to see you succeed. We want to see more successful people along our sides so we can help other people. So, Irina, do you want to add anything else before we
Yes,
close
I
with
just
this?
want to say, as your day goes by, I would invite you to ask yourself, what do you choose? Love or fear?
There you go. So, Kara, I know you were here with us. I saw you in the chats. Thank you for helping us on the chats. And mwah,
Kara,
love all
say
your help.
thank you for staying energetically with us for all these beautiful podcasts we had. And it wouldn't be the same without you. And thanks for everybody who's going to be watching and listening. And just, guys, your life is in your hands. Make the best
Absolutely.
out of it.
Thank you. And until next Monday at 11 a.m., I apologize. This Monday, we had some technical difficulties. Technology did not want to work with us today. So, next Monday, 11 a.m. See you next time. Have a great